Okay guys, so we are back with another one of our videos. In this videos, we will be looking at simple civil engineering questions that an employer asks you when you run to them right out of the graduate school. Okay, so first question could be, they might give you a diagram like this one. They might put a point load at the end or in between a span. And the intensity of the loading could be any. Let's say it is 20 kilonewton and the span is like, let's say, 10 meters. And as a graduate, when we see these questions, that is it just a cantilever beam with a 20 kilonewton force right at its free end, we don't look at the question from a far away point of view, and we suddenly jump right into it and draw shear and find out the reactions like, hey, let's say this is the 20 kilonewton upward reaction, and the shear force would be at point A, there is an upward loading of 20, and then from point A to point B, there is no force in between, so the shear force remains constant. On reaching point B, the shear force comes downward. And we say to the employer that, hey, look, I have drawn the shear force diagram. And then employer look at you with a derisive look on his face and says, you are rejected. The reason is because there was no shear force diagram that existed for this beam in the first place. Why? Let's see. First thing that we need to do for any beam or frame is that we find the degree of indeterminacy. So let's work out the degree of indeterminacy for this beam. So the degree of indeterminacy is equals to number of unknown reactions minus number of equilibrium equations. In our case, there is just one support, which is a hinge support, so the total reactions would be 2. And how many equations are there in total? 3. So the degree of indeterminacy comes out to be as -1, which indicates that our structure is unstable. When the structure is unstable, what it necessarily means is that when we will apply the force, the structure is not going to stay static. It is going to move from its initial position. And when the structure is able to move, it is not resisting any load. And when the structure does not resist the load, there is no development of internal forces. And hence, there will be no shear or bending moment. So these are the questions that do not have any shear force or bending moment diagrams, however, because they are simply unstable.